Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Chester Racecourse here on Thursday. It is the 9th of May 2024. Going to look at almost all the races here on day 2 of the May Festival from Chester. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. And also join me tomorrow for the final day of the May Festival from Chester, and also Saturday for my Man of War preview from Aqueduct, and also Saturday for my Derby Trial preview from Linkfield. One of my favorite races of the year, that Derby Trial. So I hope you join me for that. But let's look at the action today from Chester. We'll be looking at almost all the races except the second race, 205. I don't look at early season 2-year-old races until in the UK until we get to Royal Ascot. So I watch as a fan, but as a bettor, we'll skip over it. So let's get to it right now. The 130, the first race from Chester. It's a CAA Stellar Handicap. It's a Class 2 handicap going for a purse $57,000. Races for 4-year-olds and upwards. Horses rated 0 to 100. 12 horses are contesting the distance of ground here of 1,000 meters or 5 furlongs on the turf course. Gonna take the 8 horse here, Manila Scouts, as top selection. 8-10-1 in the TriCash trifecta. 8-10-1 TriCash trifecta. That's the top 3 basically, but the top selection is the 8 horse Manila Scouts. 5-year gun by claim here. Tim Easter trains, gets Allen up in the saddle. The horse's most recent outing, first off the bench, came on the 28th of April at Weatherby. Soft ground, 5.5 furlongs on a Class 4 handicap, and the horse finished second by 1 3/4 lengths that day. Had a bit of a high weight on his back, but he settled well getting out of the gate clear. He stalked all the way around the race course, maybe just a little bit flat late. He just couldn't keep up, but he ran his heart out. He gets a good poster here today. He has some forwardly pace. He'll handle the good ground. I think he get the trip to win. 2 back, he ran a Class 2 handicap at Doncaster, 5 furlongs heavy ground in late October of 2023. He finished 4th by 4 3/4 lengths, and he never quickened up and never weakened out of it. I do think the very soft ground got to him that day. And then prior to that, at Catterick, heavy ground, 5 furlongs in a Class 2 handicap in late October. He finished 4th by 2 lengths that day. Going up that final furlong really got to him. He hit the wall completely. He just wasn't keeping up there. And then at 5 furlongs with a Haydock in late September on heavy ground in Class 2 handicap. He finished 4th by 4 3/4 lengths. Again, he just kind of, crumbled late. But he has some forwardly pace. It's a more speed favoring track. Like a little bit better poster, but the poster isn't half bad. I think he could win at 6-1. I think the 10 horse, Night of Earth for Richard Kingscote and Ian Williams is your second likeliest winner horse. And definitely using your play spot here. It was a winner in last asking at Epsom over the 5 furlong in a Class 3 handicap. Winning by 1 1/4 lengths, he flew home on the front end to win that day. Prior to that at Wolverhampton over the 5 furlongs in a Class 4 handicap, he finished second by half a length that day, and he was gaining late. Stepping up in class, not a bad race, and over the 5 at Chelmsford wasn't bad at all for that place there. He had a great winter on the all-weather. His turf debut for this season wasn't bad at all. Coming here facing the big boys, he's going to have to overcome barrier number 12 at 12, which is not ideal. He's going to have to use a lot of speed to get over well early on, but let's see if he could have a lot left in the tank to get first over the ground. I think he can. But to recap my selection for the 130, the first race from Chester, going to take the 8 horse Manila Scouts, give kudos to the 10 horse here, Night of Earth. Where are we? 8-10-1 TriCash trifecta, 8-10 in the place pot. So we're going to skip over the 205, the second race, head over to the third race, the 235, which is the Halliwell Jones handicap. It's a Class 2 handicap going for a purse $57,000. Race for 3-year-olds only. Horses rated 0 to 105. Field of 9 horses going 1,600 meters or a mile on the turf course. Going to take the 5 horse Dashing Darcy as the top selection. 5-2-7 for me in the TriCash trifecta. 5-2-7 TriCash trifecta. Top selection of 5 horse Dashing Darcy. The trio called by Morar here. Roger Varian trains. James Doyle gets to mount. The horse's most recent outing came 19th of April at Newbury. 7 furlongs yielding ground Class 2 handicap. Stepping up in class. Really had a decent run. Finished second by a neck that day. He, was on the stand side most of the race. He stalked that day, had a decent turn of foot. Off the bench, not a bad race. Second off, back to turf, going around the bend with a very good poster, has some forwardly pace. I think he get a trip to win. 2 back at Linkfield right before Christmas. 1 mile on the poly track in Class 5 novice race. He won by a neck, and he was drawn very wide that day, but he settled well, and he had a little left in the tank to grind it out to the wire. Very good run there. And then the 5th of December at Linkfield, 1 mile in Class 5 main race. He won by 4 lengths that day. Could have won by more. He really destroyed the competition. Other than his first race where he pulled up out of it because of the debacle early on, After that, he's really become a decent horse. Coming here today off some decent runs, he could win. I think the 2 horse, Never So Brave, Ryan Moore and Michael Stout can win also. Was a winner at Thirsk in April, quite nice over the 7 in the Class 5 main race. Won by 4 lengths that day. He really took off clear. Was over about 73 cents to the dollar. Everybody's mother knew he was going to win, but he still won quite nicely for being his first start since July. Nottingham, that was the race at 6 furlongs in the Class 5 main race. He finished second by 3/4 length, and he just needs some more ground there. And then on debut last June at Newmarket over the July course in the 7 furlong Class 4 novice, he finished second by 1/4 lengths. Again, he just wants some more ground. I think a mile's what he wants to do. He has some forward pace here. Gets Ryan Moore up today. The quad pot begins with this race. He's going to be used on my ticket. But to recount my selection for the third race, the 235, going to take the 5-horse Dashing Darcy. Give kudos to the 2-horse Never So Brave. 527 Tricast Trifecta. 5-2 in the multi race. The fourth race, the 305, it's co-feature on the program. It is the Dee Stakes. It's a listed stakes for Class 1 horses, going for a $127,000 purse race for 3-year-olds here. 5 horses are going 2,000 meters or a mile and a quarter on the turf course. I guess you could call this a derby trial also. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 4-horse God's Window. I'm going to go 4-1-3 in the Tricast Trifecta. 4-1-3 Tricast Trifecta. Top selection of 4 is God's Window. They don't call Florida God's Window. I think they call it God's Waiting Room, but same thing. This 3-year-old by DeBow here. Jonathan Edigaz and trains. Kieran Schumacher gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 20th of April at Nottingham. A very soft ground. It was the heavier side of soft. 1 mile in the Class 5 novice race, and the horse won by 8.5 lengths that day. 2 other rivals, 70 cents to the dollar, or excuse me, it's not 70 cents, 10 cents to the dollar. Very, very overbet horse in the UK and here on the stateside in the tote pools. But he put on a show that day. He settled well, he quickened up, and it was basically a paid workout like we would have here in the States. Refreshing here to tougher horses, mile court, he's bred for through and through. I think they might have a real deal high enough horse on their hand. Trueback, the horse ran the Group 1 Futurity Trophy at Doncaster 1 mile on the 20th of October. He finished third by 1 3/4 lengths that day. I thought he wanted more ground, but he was on the drive. He was excelling that day, but he just couldn't keep up there. And then 16th of September at Doncaster, 1 mile Class 2 main race. He won by 3/4 length. He was under the drive, excelling, and every very, very easy run. He's run 3 terrific races, speed figure wise. Coming here today with a good poster. Dying out for a mile and a quarter, he could win. I think the 1-horse Jaybury for Sean Levy and Brian Means, your second likeliest winner. The only subpar race was the Parisian Lagardiere at Longchamp, where he just never really got going, but he won a listed race at Newmarket over the mile and 1/8 quite easily during the Craven meeting, and broke the main in the July course in Newmarket in late August quite nice and quite lightning fast ground. He has some forwardly pace here. He's run 2 decent races. He has a stamina to win over the mile and a quarter. I would use him in the place pot here in this very wide open co-feature, so let's use him there. But to recap my selection for the fourth, the 305 from was it Doncaster but Chester. It is the Dee Stakes. Going to take the 4-horse God's Window. Give kudos to the 1-horse JRB. Where are we? 4-1-3 Tricast Trifecta. 4-1 in the multi-race. The featured 5th race now, the 340. It's the Group 3 Ormonde Stakes. It's a Group 3 event for Class 1 horses going for a purse of $178,000 race for 4-year-olds and upwards. 7 horses are going the distance of ground here of 2,600 meters or a mile 5/8 on the Chester turf course. So the this turf course is gonna have the stayers are gonna go on this turf course here today, so I quite like it. Tomorrow the even longer stayers, the marathoners, are gonna run here on this turf course tomorrow, which I can't wait for with the Chester Cup. But my top selection here, I'm gonna go with the 2-horse Arrest. I'm gonna go 2-1-6 in the Tricast Trifecta. 2-1-6 Tricast Trifecta. Top selection 2-horse Arrest. 4-year-old colt by Frankel here. Gentleman owned. Jonathan Edigaz and trains. Not Frankie Dettori, but Kieran Schumacher gets the mount. Frankie Dettori is actually right here in New York on Saturday afternoon at Belmont at Aqueduct, so can't wait for that. But Kieran Schumacher's on this one. His most recent outing in the Surprise Stakes at Newbury, mile and a half, 20th of April. He finished 7 by 6 lengths, and he was very disappointing that day. He had a wide poster. He was on the drive, just not excelling. He weakened out of it. It wasn't his day to win. He's refreshing here against some little bit lesser quality horses, I think. Also a longer trip, which should really suit him well. I think he's going to be in a better spot to win. back facing all the horses again. 2 back in the Group 1 St. Ledger at Doncaster, mile 13, 16, 16th of September. He finished second by 2.5 lengths that day, and he didn't weaken out of it, but he didn't quicken up either. He just kind of plodded along. I thought he ran an okay effort that day, but he still could have won. And then the Gregory Freer Stakes at Newbury, mile 5/8 in August. He put on a show, winning by 1.5 lengths at 83 cents a dollar. He could have probably won by more. He quickened up nicely, and he went away with it. And, his race before that, they ran him in the Derby last year where he just wasn't getting into it, where he completely hit the wall, actually. He had a very wide poster, and they had to use him early on. Can't believe he went off as a 4-1 favorite. That doesn't make sense to me. But he won this turf course last year in the Chester Vos quite easily. Came back to run, after that in the Derby horribly in the King Edward. Then they took the horse for a 2-month break. Came back at Newbury in late August where he won quite nicely. Refreshing here back to a course he's won on. He could win. I think the one horse here, Alskib, for, pardon me if I mispronounced the horse's name wrong, but Ocean Murphy and Andrew Balding's on this one. Andrew Balding trains one. Ocean Murphy's on this one. He ran in the winter actually or late last year in the Qatar Derby where he ran horribly. He finished 7 by 3.5 lengths. Came back to run that Surprise Stakes where he didn't run at all. But if you look at some of his races in the summer last year, he wasn't running bad at all since coming to longer trips. A very good place in August at Glorious Goodwood over the mile quarter. Came back to run an Ascot in a Heritage Handicap, winning by 2 lengths, upsetting that day. Very good trip. And then won a Heritage Handicap over the mile and a half in October quite easily also. Refreshing here of a longer trip I think he's been crying out for. Second off, I'll give him a shot here in this quad pot ticket. But to recount my selection for the 340 now, the 5th race from Chester, it's the Group 3 Ormonde Stakes. Going to take the 2-horse Arrest. Give kudos to the 1-horse Alskib. Where are we? 2-1-6, Tricast, Trifecta, 2-1 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 6th event, the 410. It is the Precision FS Odds handicap. It's Class 3 handicap going for a $38,000 purse race for 4-year-olds and upwards. Horses rate 71 to 90. 12 horses are going 2,000 meters or a mile a quarter on the turf course. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the 7-horse Loyal Touch. I'm going to go 7-10-5 in the Tricast Trifecta. 7-10-5 Tricast Trifecta. This is going to be the real race to make your money in your place pot, I think, here today. Top selection 7-horse Loyal Touch. This 4-year-old gelding by No Nay Never. Charlie Johnson trains. Jason Hart gets the mount. Horse's most recent ad came about a month ago at Newcastle. A mile quarter in a Class 4 handicap. He finished second by a neck that day, and he had a good trip from the inside. He stalked. He quickened up. The winner had the jump on him, but he ran his heart out closing up that day. He had a very game race. Another very game race came at Newcastle on the rail, mile a quarter in Class 4 handicap of March. Winning by a nose that day. He stalked, he got the lead, he looked like he was going to go under late, but he gamed it out to the wire. Very good, determined performance there. And then at Linkfield, he ran horribly in March off the bench, mile a quarter, and a Class 4 apprentice handicap. He had a wide trip with that quick run to the first time over the mile a quarter. He didn't do a lot of running. He just kind of hit the wall that day. He yielded late. It wasn't his day to win. And then some of his races last fall weren't up to par, but those were in some very tough spots. He's back down to a Class 3 handicap over a mile a quarter, which he wants to do. Those Class 2 handicaps or those Class 3 at Goodwood in August during the Glorious meeting and then during the Ebor meetings, those were tough races. Down the class ladder here today, he could win at 8-1. Very good poster, has some further pace. I'll give him a shot on the ticket. I think the 10 horse here, Crystal Mariner for Ryan Moore and Sir Michael Stockman also hasn't been seen since July, where he didn't do a lot of running in that Class 6 handicap in Newmarket. Maybe got weakened, injured, that's why you didn't see the horse since then. Refreshing here, back to turf. He has some ability here. His starts earlier in the spring last year weren't bad at all. He won at Newcastle nearly a year ago to the day over the mile quarter quite easily. Came back to run at Redcar in the late summer or late May, where he just kind of yielded late. I think the ground was a little bit too fast. I think he's the kind of horse who wants a slight give in the ground, which he's going to see today. At 6-1, he can win, and a horse to also place in the quad pot. I think the 5-horse Pearl Eye for Jason Watson, was a winner last time out of Pontefract a week ago, quite nice over the mile off the bench. His races last fall and spring weren't bad at all. He had a very nice place on this turf course in September over this trip of grounds. I'll give him a shot here on the ticket, but to recount my selection for the 410, the 6th race from Chester, very wide open 6th race here, I'm going to take the 7-horse Loyal Touch, give kudos to the 10-horse Crystal Mariner and the 5-horse Pearl Eye, 7-horse Loyal Touch. It's the 10 horse Crystal Mariner and the 5 horse Pearl Eye here. Lost my train of thought for a second. 7-10-5 TriCast Trifecta, 7-10-5 in the Quad Pod. Been talking way too long today. Let's get to the 7th race, the 4:45, the get out race of the day. It is the Camden Town Brewery Handicap. It's Class 4 handicap going for a $32,000 purse race for 3-year-olds only. Horses rated 63 to 82. 10 horses are going 2,400 meters or mile and a half on the turf course. Gonna take here the 8 horse Arch Legend. I'm gonna go 8-4-3 in the TriCast Trifecta. 8-4-3 TriCast Trifecta. Top selection 8 horse Arch Legend. This 3-year-old colt by Camelot. Charlie Johnson trains. Franny Norton, a legend around at Chester, gets the mount. The horse's most recent out came a week ago at Wolverhampton, a mile and a half in a Class 6 handicap. Going down in class, second off the bench. He likes Wolverhampton. He's won the last 2 there. He won by 5 lengths that day and basically won in a trot. That was a very good race. Come back here. It's a good poster. Back to a mile and a half. Stepping up in some classes. Form's good. I think he keep up with these slightly classier handicapped horses in the spot. 2 back Windsor over the mile 3 race in Class 6 handicap in April. He won by 1 1/4 lengths that day. And again, he stayed the trip well. He stalked. He got the lead. And off the bench, they found something with him. A very, very good run. Before that, his Giro form was quite crap. He ran a good one in September where he didn't do a lot of running in a very tough Class 2 main race. Came back to run the Class 4 novice race at Chelmsford where he didn't do a lot of running, and then ran at Lingfield where he didn't do a lot of running either. But they found something good with him in this fall. He's back up in class here today, off 2 decent runs. I'll give him a shot on the ticket. I think the 4 horse Mac 10 for Cliff Lee and Carl Burke win also. Still main here, but he's getting closer. His race in April at Wolverhampton over the mile and a half wasn't half bad, where I just thought he won a little bit longer ground. And then off the bench, Doncaster, it looked like he just needed the race there. But refreshing here, back to a mile and a half. Good post drop. I'll give him a shot here, 15-1 to upset. But to recount my selection for the 4:45, the 7th race from Chester, gonna take the 8 horse Arch Legend. Give kudos to the 4 horse Mac 10. 8-4-3 TriCast Trifecta. 8-4 in the multi race. So good luck to him. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck.